Hello friends, a very warm welcome to Coding Techniques. Today we are going to study how to work with the camera plugin of Cordova, where we will be actually working with the Cordova plugin but installing it using the commands used for Capacitor. I'll show you out, no need to worry. Now before starting off, let me share with you a few things that if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do that up. So as you already know that I have launched a course on Ionic which is available on Udemy. All the offer links are given in the description. Kindly check it out and enroll in it if you haven't done that yet. So with this, let's start with our application where we'll be working with the camera plugin. Alright, so in the previous lecture you have seen how we have worked with the camera plugin of Capacitor in our sign up page, right? So everything is working out here. Now let's work with the camera plugin using the Cordova one. So let's go to our Ionic framework docs at first. So it is already opened up out here. You can just go to this particular link and this will open up. Now let's go to the native portion, native section. Let me scroll down a bit, and out here I got the camera plugin, right? Now out here, well, these are few configuration which we need to do in order to make it work. Now at first, if you are using this for the Cordova, then you have to go to this one and install it up in this manner, alright? But in case of Capacitor, well, this plugin installation part is different, but the working mechanism is the same out here also, alright? So out here we will be using the Capacitor one because the Capacitor is already installed in our system, and if I try to run this command, it will give me some error because I cannot run this, and that is why this is being built up so that we can use these plugins also along with the other Capacitor plugins which we have already worked with very nicely. So that is why I'm going to install it up. And if you're working with Cordova, like I already said, you can install this part and carry on from there itself. Rest will be the same. So let me open another terminal out here and paste this command, hit enter. It will take some time to install. In the meanwhile, I'll just stop this for the time being. Otherwise, the plugin won't get synced up properly. Might happen in most of the cases. After that will be done, we have to run this command. Alright, this is done. Now let me just paste this command and hit enter. The second command will also run in this manner. Now it's time to run the final command, which is this command. I'll simply copy it up and paste it out here. Alright, this is also done. Now if you face any kind of an error, then just check it out here. If you just scroll down, you will see www folder, and if it is not there in your case, then kindly run the command Ionic build, this command, alright, and after that again run the Ionic capsync. So what that will do is that will create a www folder out here, and that will resolve your problem, alright. So we are good to go. We have already installed the Cordova plugin for camera. Now let's see what we have to do out here. So this is the working mechanism of it, and what we will do, we will not do it from there itself, but we will check the documentation in GitHub to understand it a bit more. So out here, the permissions that were supposed to be working, we have already paused in our previous lecture for Android, and I have already shown you for iOS too. Now if you are using Cordova and you're just watching this video for only the Cordova part, then what you need to do, you need to copy these permissions and paste it in your config.xml file within the iOS platform, because these are the iOS permissions, alright. And for the Android one, you have to pass it in your Android manifest.xml. Most of the time it will be automatically passed, but in cases if it is not passed, you have to pass the external storage and internal storage permissions out there, alright. Well, if you do not know, just watch my last video and you will understand what things needs to be done. Fine. Only if it does not work, remember that. Now what we need to do, so these are the properties that are available for this camera options which we can implement. So what I'll do is, first thing first, so at first let me declare this in our app.module.ts file. So let's do it out here because this is the Cordova plugin, so we have to do it in this manner. Now in the providers, let me break it down. I'll type out here camera, and this is the import that we need to pass. So I'll copy it up and paste it out here. Alright, let me remove this camera options, not needed out here. Alright, so the importing is done in our app.module.ts. Now we can use it everywhere. So in my sign up, if I have to call that up, I'll simply pass private camera colon camera. Now you can see the suggestion is also coming up. Let me, yeah. Now it is imported from ngx slash camera ionic native slash camera slash ngx. Now you can see I'm getting an error. Why? Because earlier we were using the capacitor camera plugin. So I'll simply comment the earlier one. Now the error should go away. Alright, now error is gone. Now what I'll do is I'll simply comment this function which we have executed earlier for our capacitor so that we don't encounter any issue. Now I'll create another function because we'll be needing that function actually. It's already called in our HTML. So if we don't give that, we will face some error. So it's better to pass it in this manner out here. We'll work on that. Let me create another function, or in fact what I'll do, I've already created it up. I'll simply copy it up to save time and I'll explain you what exactly I have done out there. Let me paste it and uncomment it up. So I've created a function called take photo. Let's import this also at first. Alright, where I am passing a parameter called source type, which is of type number. Now what are all these options? Let's check it first, because without that you won't be able to understand what exactly I have done out here. So let's go to the GitHub part, or in fact let me show you out here at first. These are the camera options which is being passed to this camera.getPicture, and I am passing out here the options. And the option is passed out here. That is what it is to be done in order to use the feature of camera with certain options like the quality, destination type and all others. Now if you want to check in details what is it actually, then I'll go to the GitHub, and out here let me scroll up a bit where it is. Alright, so out here what is source type, what is gate picture, everything is written in depth. Now I'm interested in looking at, let me scroll on a bit, this part. Now what is the quality? It is of type number, default is 50. Quality of the saved image expressed as a range of 0 to 100, where 100 is typically full resolution with no loss from file compression. That will actually store a big file, so you must be aware of it. So out here I have given 50. By default also it is 50. If you remove it, still it's gonna work fine. Then next is destination type. Now what is it? Choose the format of the return value. So whatever the image that we are getting in return, that will be of type data URL. That's what I need. Alright, if you hover on it, you will see that it returns a base64 encoded string. That's what we need. Then the source type, which I have passed in the parameter as a number. Now what it does is set the source of the picture, whether it is camera, take it from the take a picture, or take it from the gallery, or you can take the pictures from the saved part. Like I'll show you also that also, don't worry. Now allow edit, false or true, you can pass encoding type, whether it is JPEG or any other. What we have used out here, encoding type, we have used JPEG. Now media type is picture, and what is the media type? Set the type of media to select from. Only works when picture source type is photo library or save photo album. We'll go to that. What is it? Save photo album, because picture type is actually related to source type. Alright. Now these are few other options, you can just go through it. Now here, like I said, for the gate picture, we have the option of data URL or file URI. Alright. So data URL I have passed in the destination type. You can also pass the URI also if you want to work with that. But it returns a base64. Now they are saying that if you use the file URI, then it's much better. But let us go for data URL. If you want, you can just try with the file URI also. Alright. Now you can pass JPEG or PNG too. Out here you can pass PNG also in the encoding type. Now let me scroll down. So this is the part I'm interested in. This is the source type which we need to work with. So photo library, if you pass 0, that means it is photo library. Image will be chosen from the device photo library. Now if you select 1, then we will access the camera directly. And if you pass 2, then save photo album. Choose images only from device camera roll album, such as photo library for Android. So that is the whole stuff out here. So why I have kept it as dynamic, as you have already seen in the previous lecture, that what we did is we got a prompt in capacitor camera plugin, but out here there is no prompt, so we have to create a prompt of our own so that we can access that up, right? And out there I'm going to pass 0 to the photo one, means accessing the photos directly, and 1 to the camera one. So let me do it out here. Now for that I will be using an action sheet whose function I have already defined out here. What I'll do is I'll simply, let me cut this from here, even this is already being used, so I'll just remove it. Now this part I'll explain, don't worry. At first let me just paste it out here. The last function is not needed, along with that this is not needed. Alright, let me uncomment this up now. Alright, so this is an action sheet. Now this is giving me an error because that is not imported into our or injected into our constructor, which we can directly use it. So private action sheet controller, action sheet controller. Alright, now it is imported also. Fine, spelling will be action sheet, S will be capital. Alright, everything looks fine. So out here I'm using this action sheet, and if you want to know about it in the documentation out here, what you need to do, let me just copy it or let me just open Ionic framework docs again. Let me scroll down, or let's go to the component section. So at first only we are getting the action sheet. Let me open this up. And out here, if I click on this, let me scroll down a bit. If I click on it, you can see this is coming up, right? So that's what we need to achieve. Now for that, the execution is given out here. You can just go through it. This is the whole thing that I have done out there. All right. So out here, the header name is photo. The button, the first button will be from photos, and this handler will be the click event that will get triggered whenever we click on these photos or select these photos. So out here what I'll do, I'll simply pass this dot take photo, and I will pass the value as 0 out here, which will call the gallery or the camera roll for iOS. Fine. Now for take picture also everything will be same, except this will be 1. Fine. And there is a cancel button too, which I'll leave it as it is because the role is cancelled. So if I click on it, it will get dismissed automatically. So now this thing is fine. Everything looks good. Now out here, we are using async await. Now out here, the camera.get picture, which will return a promise actually. As you can see out here, it is returning a promise. That is why we can directly use the await out here. And the then value will be caught in this particular constant. Now you can pass this within the try catch also if you want to access the error, but in most of the cases you won't get that error actually. And this is a selected image which we have used earlier also, and I'm going to pass the value of this image directly out here. Fine. And why this is appended, let me show you. Out here, if I just scroll down, let me search for base 64. Alright, now out here when I search for base 64, otherwise it is very hard to find. Okay, on the success, well, this function, this is the thing that is getting called. So out here also what they are doing is they are appending the source in this manner. Alright, so that is how they are getting the thing to be done. Now what we will do is, well, they have appended the image in the src in this manner so that they are not using anything extra. Fine. Now for me this is of type any, so I can even pass an object or simply a value to that, so it will directly hold the image. Now we have to make few changes in our HTML in order to make it work. Now here everything is fine. Simply changing this thing a bit will work. So instead of this web path, I'll simply pass selected image because that will be holding the whole image actually. Alright. Now we cannot test it in our browser. Let me show you. If I just run Ionic serve out here, let's see what happens. Alright, so as you can see out here, I'm encountering a problem and it is saying that this thing is missing, so we need to install it up before going ahead. So what I'll do is npm I means install, and hit this command. Let's install this package and we will start it again. Now let's try it again to run Ionic serve. Let's see this time, I hope we don't get any error. Alright, now you have seen that it got reloaded and this is working out. This is showing out here. Now let me try to hit this button. Let's see what happens this time. Alright, we can see that it is showing up as this is iPhone. So this is working, right? Now if I click on get from photos, nothing works, isn't it? and if you see the console, we got an error saying Cordova not available, right? So that is what happens if we are working with the Cordova plugin in browser. Now if you are working with Cordova only, then instead of capacitor.get platform, you can also use, let me just comment it up and write it out here, is platform. It is the same thing, and out here you can simply pass web for browser. Alright, even you can pass Android or iOS too to check the platform, which platform it is. Fine, and it will always return true or false. So that's what you can do instead of capacitor.get platform. But I don't think we are using it anywhere in this particular code, so nothing to worry about. And in fact, this line of code, well, this is very much important. If you don't present it up, the action sheet won't show up. And this is the function whenever the action sheet is getting dismissed, you need anything to get called. Well, if you want something, then you will get it out here in this particular data object. All right, but I don't want anything, so what I'll do is I'll simply comment it up, not needed. I just want to show the action sheet and work accordingly. So this is good to go. Now in order to work with that, what I have to do, I have to run it in my device. As you can see, this is not working, so what I'll do is I'll just remove it. So I have connected my Android device out here. Now in order to run it in our Android device, well, for capacitor we can directly do that using Ionic cap run Android, or we can open the Android Studio like we have done in the previous video. But for Cordova, you can simply run out here Ionic. Then at first you have to add the platform, Ionic Cordova platform, add Android. If not the latest version, then you can append this at latest also. This command you can run, and once that is run, you can simply run the command Ionic Cordova run Android. That's it. And if you want to do the live reload one, then -L will also work for Cordova. But for capacitor, well, we already have the Android folder out here. That won't be in case of Cordova, because in case of Cordova you get a platforms folder, and within that you have the Android folder. Fine, so this Android folder is already there. The permissions are already set in our Android manifest.xml, as you can see, for the camera, isn't it? So we are good to go with that. Now what I'll do is I will run Ionic cap sync Android, because we are using the capacitor, so I'll use Ionic cap. If you are using Cordova, then use the Cordova commands. Remember that, don't get confused out here. And my platform is already added, so I am not adding it again and again. Alright, this syncing is done. Now it's time to open it in our Android. So I'll hit the command Ionic cap open Android. Okay, the project has opened up in the Android Studio, and it's gonna take some time to prepare it up out here. Fine, as we have already run it earlier in the previous video, so it's gonna be a little faster. Let's wait for that to open up very nicely. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll simply click on this run app button, and it's going to play the application into my device. As you can see, the device has already been tracked, right? Alright, now it is launched successfully and it is running in my phone right now. Now what I'll do is, in order to check that out, well, I'll access the Chrome feature that is available only for Android, not for the iOS. So if you're running in Android, then you can just go to this link chrome://inspect, and you will get the devices which are into the USB debugging mode, and the app is showing up in here. I'll click on this inspect, and there we go. You can see that it is showing up. Now what I'll do, let's go to sign up. Alright, so we are in the sign up page right now. Now if I click on this button, I'm getting it. The action sheet is getting called, and I have 3 options out here. Even you can remove this also, the icon for the cancel one. I'll leave it. So this is looking nice. Now let me do one thing. Let me go to from photos, and it's going to access my photos. I have selected a photo which is actually the image of the application which we are already building right now. Now let me try it from the camera. So by default it is opening the front camera. Even you can access that up too. So I'll take an image. So I've taken the image of the screen itself. Alright, so this is also working, isn't it? Now you can access the front camera and back camera also. For that you have to go to this GitHub, and out here if you just search for front facing or back facing, you can just access that up using the camera direction. Alright, so I think by default it is back, but I am accessing the front camera. I don't know why that is showing up in that manner, but anyways, you can just play around with that to achieve the same as you want. Alright, now before wrapping it up, let's try one more thing. What I'll do is, in my code, I will try to work with the file URI, and instead of this, I will directly pass the image, or let me simply copy it up because I don't want a lot of changes to be done, and remove it up. Fine. Now let's see what is the change that is occurring out here. So for that, I have to sync the project. And if you want to run live reload, because every time syncing and doing the stuff won't be a good task, so for that you have to go to ionicframework.com/docs, and out here if you just scroll down, you will see developing for Android, developing for iOS in the developing section, which I have already opened up for developing for Android. And if you just scroll down, you will see all the things, how to set it up for the Android and how to run the live reload. Now this is in case of Capacitor. For Cordova, you can directly run this command for accessing the live reload. Fine. Now in Capacitor, the extra part is this part. You have to pass your IP address out here, which you can get using the command ipconfig. Well, I'm showing it out here. Alright. In your terminal, you can just type it out and you will get your IP address. You just pass that IP address out here and it's gonna work pretty nicely. Alright. Alright, so syncing is done. Now to be on the safe side, I will hit the command Ionic cap open Android again, and this will open up in Android Studio again. Alright, so it has opened up. Now I will rerun it again and let's see the difference. Alright, so it is about to install. Well, I got a pop-up for terminating the earlier app that was running, so I terminated that. Okay, so app is launched again in my device and let's check it out here. Alright, it is showing up. Now if I go to sign up and click on this button, let's take it from the photos. Let me access a picture and you can see the error is showing up. Well, this is not working, so directly passing the file won't work. So in order to show the image, we have to do some tasks because the value that we are getting is a file. Alright, so the file cannot be directly passed into our img tag. So for that, let me do something. I'll access the file name in this manner of the image, then in this manner I will access the path, and then what I'll do is I will use this .file.read as data URL, so converting it as data URL and passing it in our select image. And this is showing an error because we have to install the plugin for that, and I'll simply comment this up. So I'm doing little rapidly out here, but that is very important, so that if it is getting converted to data URL, then it will be the same thing that we have implemented earlier on. Alright, now in order to remove this error, let me go to the Ionic framework docs. Where is it? Yeah, it is already opened up, the file one. I have already opened it up. You can just go to the native part, native section, and out here if you scroll down, you will see this file tab. Click on it and you will enter in this page. Now in order to install it, well, I'll install it for the Capacitor, so I'll simply run this command. For Cordova, this is the command, simply run this up. Alright, so let's paste this up. Alright, so this is installed. Now let's copy the second command and paste it out here, hit enter. Now let's run the last command, which is Ionic cap sync. And in the meanwhile, what I'll do is we have to inject it out here, file of file, and also in our app.module.ts file also. So I'll simply pass it out here. And what is the import for that? Let me just simply copy it up. Where is it? This is the import. I'll simply copy it up, paste it out here, and need it in our sign up page also in this manner. Fine. So all the errors are gone. Let's wait for it to get synced up. Alright, so syncing is done. Now I will run this command, Ionic Capacitor run Android for the live reload -l and -- host my IP address, which I got it from here by typing the command ipconfig, as you can see out here, right? And this is my IP, so that's how you get it. So let me hit enter out here. Okay, so now let me select the device. So I'll select this device and it's going to run the sync one, then again it's going to run few commands. We have to wait for a while until it gets start. Alright, so it is running, but as of now it is not opened up in my phone right now. So there are two options, like the first one, like it will automatically do the stuff and open it up in your system. If it gets stuck, then you can just click on this play button and it will install it up in live reload mode itself. Alright, now it is launched in my phone. And one important thing you need to understand when you are running live reload, that your system, that means your device and your laptop or the PC, should be on the same network, then only it's gonna work. Otherwise this will show you that the web page is not available. Make sure that you are on the same Wi-Fi to make that happen. Alright, now with this, let's go to our inspect it up so that we can see what are the changes that are getting triggered when we are using this up. Okay, so it is showing out here, but I think the image loading is taking a bit of time. Not to worry. Now, in order to see whether live reload is working properly or not, what I'll do is, in my homepage HTML, let me change this to with me 2, and let's check it out whether it gets triggered or not. As you can see, it is recompiling up, and now you can see that the changes are getting reflected out here, right? Now let me get back to the earlier one which it was, and then we are going to check whether this works or not after doing this stuff. So let's go to sign up. Let me show you out here. Now in this sign up, I'll click on this button. Okay, the action sheet is working, and if I click on photos, I'll select a picture. Alright, still I get the error. So this file is not working. Now what I'll try, instead of this, let me comment the whole stuff, and instead of this, let me try something else. This dot selected image will be equals to window, and this will be of type any. In this out here, I'll pass it up dot Ionic dot web view dot convert file src, and within that I'm going to pass this image. Okay, so now let's check it out if this works or not instead of the file. And that is why it is a tricky one to work with file URI. It's better to work with the data URL. Alright, let me try to access the photos again, and this time it is showing up, right? So that's how we can solve the problem. Actually, I tried to go for the file one, but the file one didn't work. So this solution, you can apply it up to show the thing up in your system. Alright, and we don't need this file, so I'll simply comment it up, and you can remove the plugin also if needed from everywhere. From here also you can simply comment or simply remove it up. I'm just commenting it up. I don't want any other errors to show up, that is why. So the last thing that is left is to check with the camera. So I'll just take a snapshot of the code. Now let's go for taking a photo. So I've taken a photo and the photo is showing up, right? So this is just the image of the screen, little invisible, but it's fine, it is working. So we have successfully implemented the camera plugin for the Cordova, using both for data URL and for the file URI. Along with that, we have also seen how to work with the live reload one. Fine. So all of this is covered up. So if you really like this video, please hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do that up. And if you want to learn more, you can buy my course, which is available on Udemy at a very limited period. Offer is going on. Links are available in the description. You can check that out. So with this, I'll wrap up this lecture out here. See you guys in the next video, which will be coming really soon. So stay tuned to the channel. Thank you very much.